Georgia.
Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night live stream. Look at all of our buddies out here tonight. Glad to have you guys on the panel. Glad to have everybody else in the side chat. How's your week been, CW?
It's actually been a pretty good week. I've best week since the bad event happened. Stayed busy. Been to the range about 4 times. But we had 2 matches. We had a practice and a match, so that was the evenings. I got a couple of bullet molds in, so I've been casting bullets and reloading bullets, and been to the gun store twice. My buddy swapped out his 44 for a 454. So I've been staying really busy, and it's been really working. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week. Couple of bad moments, but not bad days, so I'll take it. How about you, Hillbilly? How was your week?
Oh, man. Mine's been pretty good. Still, one good thing, I'm kind of been working down to just one crutch right now, so that helps out a lot. My ankle's getting better, so I've still not been able to get outside and shoot any videos from last week, and that's just aggravating for me. We've had some wonderful weather. I mean, just weather that, you're like perfect weather to be outside shooting. And
well, think of all the seltzer that's going to be out there when you get out there. It's going to be everywhere.
Yep. Oh, man. But just been doing other stuff and, editing videos and stuff. So, I mean, it's been a good week. Every day is a good day around here. So happy to be on here, man. Friday night is a blast. I love it. Thank you all for having me on here. And so, Gene, what you been up to, buddy?
Well, my week went worked. Really busy at work now, man. We got orders backed up, which is a good thing because that means I'm staying busy. Got a couple videos done on the Creedmoor. Picked up something new for my birthday today, and that will be coming on tomorrow morning. That premieres. Other than that, man, I'm happy to be here. It's Veterans Day weekend, which is a great good thing. So I want to thank everybody out there who is serving, has served, and did serve. Other than that, Walter, what you got?
I've had an easy week. I mean, being retired is such difficult work in and of itself, of course. So, I try to take it easy every chance I get. And let's see, what have I been doing? I bought that Smith & Wesson Model 57. I think I mentioned that maybe last Friday, or maybe I didn't. But anyway, but here in California, you don't get to take it home the day you buy it. It has to live in the FFL's jail for 10 days before it's yours, so you won't still be mad at whoever you were mad at when you went and bought the gun. But that's how it is. So the pickup day is a week from yesterday. Next Thursday, I get to pick it up. So anyway, I've been collecting infrastructure for that firearm. I had to get some dies because I didn't have it. Well, I had one set, but that wasn't enough. One set of dies never enough for me. I need to mix and match. And so Redding makes a die set for 41 Special, and I do have some 41 Special brass. So I'm going to be trying that out. I'd never even heard of it. I saw it. So, okay, I'll try that. There's no load dat any place for it. So I got those dies, and I got a couple new molds coming in that are probably going to be here tonight. I was hoping they'd be here today because I cast up a whole bunch of 41 mag bullets for that guy and me, because that guy got his 41 mag before I did. It ain't fitting. I'm telling you, it ain't fitting. But anyway, so I cast up a whole bunch of bullets for us today. Of the 2 of the 3 or 4 molds that I've got for 41 mag. It was the Lee 195, the 410 195, and the RCBS 41 210
SWC
semi wide cutter. Both pretty good looking bullets, actually. So we'll see how those go. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. Went to the range yesterday and shot my new Ruger RPR, and gunshot really good. The shooter didn't shoot so well. I got that new scope on it. I'm blaming it on the scope, but anyway, I got to beat on the scope a little bit more. So
Walter,
I got to get some more.
Something?
You can ask me whatever you want to, Hillbilly.
Hopefully in a week you won't be mad at those targets at the range. So,
well, those targets move around on you. You know, I know you've all seen it happen.
I have, man. I mean, literally.
And you get a dead beat on it, and they're out there shaved, and you know. Yeah.
I was trying to tell you, Scotsman put you a love note up there.
Did he? I didn't see it.
Well, I was trying to tell you. I tell you what, man. When Walter gets going, don't try to interrupt him. He'll knock you down, step on your chest as he's running over you.
I'm telling you, man, that Scotsman's got no taste at all, man.
Smiths are nice. I love my old Smiths. Good to see my brother, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, out there. I'm gonna have to go to Louisiana and chase him down. I reckon he won't come to Georgia. And last but certainly not least, the proud new owner of a 41 Magnum, Mr. Mark Thomas. How was your week, brother?
My week was great. I'm just making a quick little reply here on the side chat. We had a fairly short week at school. We only had 3 days because Tuesday was an in-service day for the voting. And that was when I made the mistake at lunchtime of going over to the shop and checking on that 41 that was still there. And boy, after Walter picking up his and watching MacMan's video, his live stream on Monday night, it got me too much. And Wednesday after school, I was right back in the shop, and I had a bag full of stuff to trade. It cost me, but that was a good one. Bringing that one home was a bucket list item. I am super tickled. I did get it to the range today and shot it, and love it. I like the scope, but I'm not sure if I like the scope. We're going to try it next time without it because it has the sights in the bag with it. So it was a good day at the range. I got to shoot that. I did a little bit of plinking. I'll have to maybe do some editing tonight or tomorrow morning, and you get to see the catastrophe was at my hillbilly balloon challenge.
No, don't tell me you had the same problem Boomstick did.
Oh, well, I'll just let you wait and see.
Oh, man.
But came home and got my son, and we went and did some errands, and I just got home a little bit before the stream started, and I got pizzas cooking in the oven next to me. That's why I'm not sitting in the comfy chair tonight. And maybe it'll keep me awake.
I mentioned in your video, if you haven't shot with a scope, it will definitely accentuate any wiggles and giggles and jiggles and shakes you have. If you're not used to a pistol scope, it's a different animal than a rifle scope.
Yeah, and that was only on 3 power. When I cranked it all the way up, it was even worse.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I will say this, and I told Boomstick this. I said, I'm going to redo that challenge because honestly, CW, I think the only reason I hit that in 3 shots was by the blessing of the Lord, because that video was for Sandra, and I know he didn't want me shooting, 200 rounds for that video. So
he probably helped you aim.
he just
probably helped
blessed me and gave me some luck right there, and so I am going to reshoot that video because I feel that was a blessing to be able to do it in 3. So
yeah. Well, she was a bullseye shooter for a bunch of years, so she might have helped you.
Yeah, I know somebody did. That's for sure.
Well, I'll try it again too. Then on a day that's not a blustery fall day.
Hey, Mark, what was the first batch of ammo you ran through that Ruger today? You mentioned on the second go around that you had some factory cast bullets, but was the first one some jacketed stuff, or what was it?
They turned out to be Winchester silver tips, hollow points, and when I first pulled them out of the box, they had fallen at some point, and some of them got jammed back into the case, so they were definite no go. But whenever I used the whacker and got the bullets out and looked in, they were unfired cases. They were brand new. Cool. And they shot pretty well. So I didn't shoot too many of those. I saved the rest of those. They might make nice hunting bullets.
Yeah.
Old silver tips were really good bullets. They were really good bullets. Yeah. I used to buy them for reloaded. You used to be able to buy them as a component.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the evening. I am probably going to kind of dip my camera and mute while I'm chewing on my pizza so I'm not disturbing anybody. So if you don't see me, that's where I'm at. I'm not taking a nap.
Yeah, famous last words. We know what it's like for a school teacher on a Friday night. Come on.
It's your story. You can tell it any way you want it.
How about you, Jamie?
Hey, James Pugh, what's going on, brother? I was off of work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and out hunting, and killed a cull spike on Wednesday, and went back to work Thursday. I was so far behind, I canceled my vacation day for today, and went to work. There's Idaho Rogers, USMC. Happy birthday, Marine. I'm almost positive today is the birthday of the United States Marine Corps.
Yeah.
248 years old.
I seen that on the news this morning.
Walter remembers that.
I was there. I think that's when I graduated high school. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they usually say that about me. So anyway, we're glad everybody's here. James Pollard, what's the best product to remove lead from a bore?
Mercury, but you can't get it no more.
There's a reason for that. I use Edge Red, but I don't know how well it is for there you go, for getting the lead out. You could use JB bore paste, probably would do it, and I think I've got some stuff over there that I inherited. If y'all talk amongst yourself, I'll go look and see. And my brother, the Scotsman, says I swore in the 1st Marine. There you go. 762. Says copper chore boy. Boy, that's a tough one.
Yeah, just be sure that it's real copper.
Yeah.
A couple of fakies out there, and you don't want those.
One of them is like copper plated steel or something.
Yeah.
You don't want that stuff.
Check it with
that
a
works. Yeah. Take a subcaliber bristle brush and wrap some of those copper fibers around it, pull it through. It does a pretty good job.
Yeah, there used to be a copper remover with a couple of rubber discs, and you got brass mesh in circles, and you put it on there and you pushed it through, and it worked pretty good. But I don't know.
It's still out there. Yeah, Lewis lead remover.
Yeah,
Lewis lead remover sold by Brownells now.
Yeah, it worked.
Johnny 1982 says Edge Red won't do it.
There's a company called Montana Extreme. Montana Extreme. They make what they call a cowboy blend that is said to do a pretty good job. I don't know. I actually have some, and I couldn't tell that it did any better than anything else. To be honest, it stinks, sure, but
Wow, James, that's going to take a minute, buddy.
Oh man. If it's that bad, you think you might be able to get the worst of it out with a brush, bronze brush, about 1,000,000 times through there. But
I did a pistol one time, you couldn't see through.
Montana Extreme. You better be ready with some other stuff too, though, because that stuff's got to be rough on your board. Big house is a brake cleaner.
If it's in the 22, it's going to be hard to do the chore boy kind of thing. It'd be hard to get that drug through there. It's too small. I think
I'd be plugging the bore and filling it and letting that soften up. Stand it in a tall something that'll collect all the fluids, and plug it and fill it up and let it soak.
What is coil oil?
Coil is a penetrant. It's basically auto training fluid and a couple other things. It's like Ed's Red, but it's more for mechanics. It's good stuff.
Mm. There you go. Stuff is great.
Yeah. That's the aerosol.
Yeah, it also comes in a flat can, like 3-in-1 oil, only bigger.
Yeah.
I know if my granny was here, she'd say plug that barrel and fill her up with vinegar. She thought vinegar would fix everything.
I know someone like that too. I'll just put some vinegar on. I'll run some vinegar through it.
Yeah.
Stop. Just stop.
It works for lots of stuff, that's for sure.
It does.
It really does.
There you go. My dad says it best. Yeah, this is a penetrating oil. This works great for it just works great. It's really good on old cars and trucks. Get stuck things unstuck. Scotsman, I was missing Willie really bad today. I almost broke down, and I don't know why. Some days just gets that way. Let me walk over here and see what else I can find to help this situation. But if you can find some Croil, I know you can find Croil, James. Maybe that'll help. Y'all go ahead and when I get back, we'll go through the side chat and say hey to all the nice peoples.
Big Al's here. Hey, Al. $50 vinegar and peroxide. I never tried that.
about some PB Blaster? Would that work?
Well, I was going to say PB Blaster is really close. I mean, that and Crow's Oil. I mean, they run a really close race, in my opinion.
I got a bunch of PB Blaster.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Thank you very much, Mr. Reloaders 762. Yeah, I got a bunch of PB Blaster. I always keep that stuff in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite a few years ago. I remember a salesman before he found it everywhere. He come by at my dad's garage and he had about a 6-inch carriage bolt or whatever, and it's just rusted as can be. And he held that thing straight up and he sprayed that PB Blaster at the bottom of that bolt, and you watched it just climb those threads and up in the air. It was amazing. And that's kind of been our go-to for a long time.
Yep, it works good. It's a mainstay. But Croyle's a very similar product. It really good penetrant.
Andy's got the right idea.
Yeah, just let it run out. That'll do it.
Just shoot a whole bunch through it and then blow into it.
I was able to push most of it out with a jag after I soaked it, but I only had a 4-inch barrel. I just put it in a tray and filled it up with solvent and just let it soak. A rifle barrel's harder.
Can you get some of this stuff?
Right.
Rem oil? Rem lube? What's it say?
Remington Right Bore.
Bore.
First thing it says removes copper, lead, and plastic wad deposits. Cleans carbon and powder fouling. I don't know, man. It's Remington. I don't know.
What does it say, Jamie? Bore what? I couldn't read it.
Bright Bore. BRITE.
Bright Bore. Okay.
BORE. And it's a Remington product. www.remington.com. Of course, there's no telling how old this is. Thank you, Scotsman. Big Al says that too. He has some of that. Walk says it works good.
I always just use a long screwdriver.
Cold chisel.
And a hammer. There you go.
I know that they've got a product for Vortec has a product for cleaning the carbon rings that tend to build up either in your revolver cylinder or in right up at the first part of a 22 barrel. After 1,000 rounds or so, they pretty much all get that carbon ring in there that are hard to scrub out.
Mock, that leads to my next question. What's the difference between a hammer and a mallet? Just size of diameter?
I don't know. My family, a mallet must usually meant something softer, not stiff.
Yeah. Like a wood head on it.
Yeah.
Abigail, I believe that Jesus gun cleaning stuff is either Windex or CLP.
Stinks. I don't like it. It stinks. Hoppy's 9 is God's scent.
Okay, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
You're going to tell us about Ed's Red, aren't you?
Yes.
Come on.
If you mix up all right, you buy a quart of, and I don't do it by the quart, I buy gallon jugs because it's cheaper per ounce. But you get equal parts of kerosene, acetone, mineral spirits, and automatic transmission fluid. And don't do like Kyle and throw a bunch of oil in there. You don't need it. The oil's in the automatic transmission fluid. That's what turns it red. But equal parts of that, and you've got 4 gallons of that stuff. I was giving quarts away for Christmas presents. Guys were coming back. Hold on a minute. I'll get a can of it I made. Y'all get a kick out of this.
Yeah, it works, and it's inexpensive to make it. I use it. I don't use it exclusively, but I do use it. I've got a gallon or so mixed up left, I think, right now.
This is what I was giving away as Christmas presents that year. I printed the label.
Cool.
Taped it on I got just these $3 paint cans, 1 quart paint cans.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, kind of a good idea, actually.
And I gave away like 8 or 10 quarts, and I still got a 5-gallon bucket that's almost half full still to this day. And you buy, all right, what's a gallon of kerosene? $7.50. A gallon of acetone's going to be about $13. Same for mineral spirits. Automatic transmission fluid's where they're going to get you, though. That stuff's about $8 a quart, and you got to have 4 of those. But you got 4 gallons of that stuff. Whereas you go buy that bottle of, I got one of those too. Hold on.
Yeah.
This bottle at Walmart just the other day, $12.95 for
Good grief.
2 fluid ounces.
Wow.
That's Hopkins number 9, huh?
Hoppy's number 9 gun bore cleaner.
$2.95 sticks in my head for that.
Me too. $12.99 almost. Well, I think the ones at Walmart were $6. They were a lot bigger than this bottle. Come to think of it, but I think they were 6-ounce bottles for $13. So even at 6 ounces for $13, you can see the Ed's Red is. Yeah, you can't beat it, guys. I mean, and it just smells so much better than Hoppy's number 9. It's got that, yeah,
That transmission fluid smell.
it's that
Got that kerosene smell.
With
Yeah.
kerosene,
No better.
yeah. Buzz, ain't nothing wrong with using 3-in-1 oil for a gun oil, except for I like mineral oil better because it evaporates and leaves nothing. Okay, everybody in the side chat, it's 8:30. Type in ER for Ed's Red, and we'll call your name out on TV. Look at this. $16.99 on Amazon for 32 ounces. 32 ounces is a quart, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I see mostly. Local gun shops here sell it for that price too.
There's Tim S. Okay, y'all ready for this? Let me get a good deep breath. Tune up my vocal cords. All right, we got Tim S. Walter Viejos out there. Fuzz T48. CW Longshot. Abigail Finnegan. Big Al. Reloading from the hot pot. Bama Dad. Paul Loud. Excuse me. Guns and Water. Tommy Boy. Andy 79Z28. TAB Videos. Duffer 426. Idaho Rogers USMC. Edward Petty. Reloader 762. Johnny 1982. Old One Guy. James Pollard. 67 Rebel SST AMC. Papa's Place. Andre D'Angelo. Guns and Water. 3 Jeep Discovery. MCK Mock. Kyle. Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog. Bobby Barlow. Rich B. Timothy Burkett. Hillbilly Up. Michael Hurtneck. Tim S. Rick Harris. I almost said Ed Harris. I wonder why. There's a Parkus. Mike Hester, the Rebel. Georgia Trapping and Fishing. Walks Fletcher. Black Betty said the Scotsman. Garage Guy 879. Floridian. Walks Fletcher. Preacher's Day Off. What's going on, brother? Tactical Fudd. Michael Hurtneck. Dale Pogue. And Hobby's Hobo. And I'll get back to those comments. Good to see the preacher out there. And let's see. Abigail says 33.3 is 1 liter. I guess that's ounces. Big Al wants 11 more thumbs up. I know y'all can do it. Now he says 10 more, please. James Pugh says ER. Abigail already left her like. So, I hope I didn't miss anybody. Justin Grimm, what's going on, brother? He needs some Hoppy's number 9 air fresheners.
Yeah, it's Ron Wayne says for him and his wife goes out, he puts little hoppies behind each ear.
Yeah.
They're excited.
All right. So, main topic we wanted to talk about tonight, Big Al says Ballistol. I don't know if that would remove lead or not. We want to talk about mounting rifle scopes. I had a tough time this week, but my problem was something the fella before me did. You know, you can do whatever you want with your guns, but it's nice to have a gun that somebody else ain't already messed up. And that's the way I see it. It's important to get your screws in the receiver straight. But when they get cross-threaded and somebody tries to take them out, they kind of break off. Ain't that right, CW?
That's the truth. I got my rail in tonight for the 1022. So I went down and I changed out that rail to the 20 MOA rail, actually the same one that Jamie's got on that Axis rifle he's been having troubles with. And I had put that rail on there with red Loctite like I always do. And just a butane lighter. Turned the gun upside down and I put the flame of the butane lighter on the screw for about 10 seconds each screw. And it was just enough to break it loose. It came right off, no problem. And I had to clean off the top of the receiver because, of course, red Loctite has a way of migrating and it gets underneath the base and it almost beds it to the top of the gun. But it'll come off. And then I mounted the new one with the same red Loctite. And I think it's gonna fix the problem. You'll see tomorrow morning, and then you'll see a video on that when I post it. I don't know what I'm up to now, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. That video will post with me on the range with that 1022. And I believe it's going to fix it. So
was that the one where you were running out of elevation room with the scope, and that's why you went to the 20 MOA?
Yeah, I didn't have
okay.
Enough elevation in the scope. I had changed it from a 6 to 24 to a 6 to 18, and I guess the 24 had more clicks, more elevation in it.
Yeah,
and that's something that you'll find quite a bit when you change scopes, different manufacturers, different brands. The common thing today is these 30 millimeter scopes, and I've talked about this in a couple videos, but it kind of fits tonight with mounting scopes. But these larger diameter tube scopes gives the manufacturer more room to have more windage and elevation. So more MOA of movement is found in these large diameter scopes. So that's a real boon, especially for 1,000-yard shooting guys, mile shooting guys, because they step up to a 34 millimeter, you're picking up a lot of adjustment in elevation, and it's going to allow you to, get by without huge MOA bases and things, because you probably have twice the adjustment that some old 1-inch scope tubes would have had. So if they had 30 or 40, you could be 60 or 80. And it's a big deal. And you combine that with an MOA base, and you're not going to have problem, turret adjusting out to 1,000 yards or more.
I think the 30 millimeter and the 34 millimeter tubes also draw in a whole lot more light. They're infinitely brighter scopes than our 1-inch models, to me.
Well, the ability to gather light does come a little bit from large diameter objectives, but greater does it come from quality glass grinding and quality coatings. You can absolutely have a much, much smaller objective diameter with a good quality scope and be brighter with a small objective with a good quality optic glass than a large. So a lot of people that really have if you like that look of a huge honking diameter objective, more power to you. It's your scope. But know that you may be fooling yourself if you think you're gaining something if you're not buying a quality scope, quality glass with that large objective. So back on scope mounting, I'm a firm believer in red Loctite on scope bases, not on scope rings, but on scope bases. Generally speaking, I don't use any Loctite on scope rings at all, but the bases I will clean them, make sure they're oil free, and you got to clean your screws too because they come with oil on them. So flush out your mounting screws in the top of your gun and flush off the screws that are going to attach it. Do a dry run without any oil, without any Loctites, because you want to make sure that those screws are not going to go through the top of the receiver into the action and impede how the action works. That's a very common thing, because on a lot of firearms, the bases will work for multiple guns. And some guns take thicker or need thinner, and it depends on what you get. And then, of course, manufacturers can simply make a mistake and provide wrong length screws. So do a dry run, mount it up, make sure your bolt opens and closes, make sure the safety works, make sure your trigger works, make sure you can cycle the action. If you can get it apart and get your finger in there to feel, make sure there's nothing hanging down, nothing sticking out. And then take it back apart, clean off the screws, clean out the holes, add your Loctite to the screw threads, not to the hole. Add it to the screw threads and put your screws in. But don't tighten the screws down until you get all the screws in the base. So you just start them and then snug them down and then tighten them, torque them down. If you don't know how much to torque them, you can look online based on the screw size. And most scope bases are going to be number 6 or number 8. And the threads are going to be somewhere between, say, 36 and 48. And that'll give you how much torque, and it'll be in inch pounds to torque them to. Yeah, Vibratite is a new style of Loctite. Loctite is kind of like tissues and Kleenex. Everybody asks for a Kleenex, but they really want a tissue. It's just become the name for a thread locker. But yeah, Vibratite is what I used in my 454 video. It's a bright orange, very sticky substance that never really hardens. It works differently than Loctite. Different Loctites work different ways. Some doesn't harden either, but the Vibratite it's like super sticky molasses. If you remember, and it goes back to when I was a kid, which is going to be the late 60s, early 70s, there was this stuff you could buy, and I don't remember what the packaging looked like, but it came with a little bitty straw, and I think a little metal tube with this stuff in it, and you put it on the end of this little bitty straw, a little 1-inch straw, and you could blow bubbles.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called. Somebody told me in my comments of that video, but that's what this stuff looks like to me. Vibratite.
That stuff stunk too.
It did. It has the same smell too. When you open the tube of this stuff, you'll get that smell. It'll bring you right back if you used to, play with that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really, really nice for really tiny screws because it doesn't harden up. If you've ever taken a front sight off a Glock or any one of these other pistols that uses teeny weeny, tiny little threaded screws, you will appreciate Vibratite because you need to Loctite them, and you can almost never get them out. Even heating them up, being careful, they're just so freaking small. Even disintegrated or heated or released Loctite still holds enough that it breaks the screws off. Where Vibratite is supposed to not do that. It's supposed to not harden up, and it's supposed to keep that shock. Loctite can be broken, or some Loctites can be broken, and then they don't do anything anymore. Where the Vibratite remains sticky and binding even if you tighten it or loosen it. So it works really good on reflex sights where you got those 2 screws to hold it down. Works really good. And if you've ever used a reflex sight on a pistol, especially in competition, and Gene knows, you got to check those screws all the time if you don't have the thread locker on them.
Oh yeah.
And even thread lockers, you got to check them. Vibratite, you can skate a little bit.
Well, normally, like on my competition pistols, I don't use anything because
You just check it.
if that dot would go, yeah, we just check it. And if that dot would go down and you need to take it off while you're at the range in between shooting, you still got your iron sights. So I mean, you still got your backup. But if you need to take your dot off because it took a dump on you, it's just much easier.
Yeah.
So we just check them constantly. I've got a Fat Daddy torque wrench, torque screwdriver.
That's the thing with that Vibratite, you can still get it off. It doesn't lock it in like red Loctite. You got to be heated up really good and then get it off and break it loose and you get white charred residue. This Vibratite's not like that. You don't have to heat it up. You don't have to do nothing. It stays gooey, like molasses, and it locks the threads from moving. But you can get it off. You can get it apart, especially if you have a bottom load battery compartment. You got to take those things off to change the battery.
I like the stays gooey statement.
Gooey's which one of the words that's just it's a good.
It's like moist. It was gooey and moist. Woo.
Well, if you fellers want to hear the hillbillies version of all this, I'll tell you what we do. For one, when you're trying to break stuff loose, even the small stuff like that, they do make. I assume they still make them. Most of ours have been around for years, but it's a solid steel Phillips head and flat screwdrivers. They most usually come in 2 or 3 sizes. So when you can't get a screw loose, you can set, you can't do this in all cases, yeah. But if you can get that against something solid and take that metal screwdriver and tap on it a little bit while you're trying to, put a little pressure to break it loose, most usually that will break it loose. But we don't use Loctite, none whatsoever, hardly, ever. Our go-to, and it don't matter if it's working on automobiles, race cars, guns, whatever the case might be, and most usually because of the color, we'll use the black silicone, like Permatech or whatever, like you put on your gaskets for your valve covers or whatever. You can take a little bit of that, you can put it on your screws, you can screw those in. They will hold and not back out. But when you go to take them out, without much pressure at all, they will break right loose and come right out. And you can take just your fingers or whatever and peel the silicone off of it, and you're like new again. But just like CW was talking about, it's not solid. So there's a flex in it. It's enough flex that it won't break loose. But when you put pressure on it to break loose, you can very easily, break that loose with that silicone in there. And it's been what we've been using for years. And without doubt, I don't know if it ever failing. And it's very cheap. Most people have some sitting out in their toolbox, and that's just what we use.
What room temperature vulcanizing silicone?
Well,
TBS.
Same stuff we use, just like some people call it Permatex. Some, we call it just silicone. It's just, the tubes, like you would go to put a gasket on your valve cover or, your crankcase or whatever, same stuff. I most usually always buy the high temp black or whatever. It just seems to be that, always hold together the best. But every nut and bolt that we put in race cars, whatever, the dirt track cars, all that stuff, they take a beating. And if you don't have that silicone in there, those bolts and nuts will come off. And not only does it work on that, it works on holding scopes on, stuff like that. We've been using it for years and years. And never, to my knowledge, me or anybody in my family's ever had a fail with that.
I thought you hillbillies just used duct tape.
Well, that we use duct tape for everything else. Baling wire. But for that, it's hard to. I mean, you can duct tape them things on, but it kind of leaves your bluing and stock a little sticky.
I thought you was going to say goat snot. That's what I was waiting for. That's free year round.
Yep.
Paul Loud, he cracks me up. Some people call it Permatex, others call it JB Wells.
Yeah, JB Wells won't quite break loose.
And Tommy Boy's got a point in CW with that Vibratex stuff. That's what the gunsmith put on that Savage for my buddy. My experience was that when I went to take the scope off of the gun to mount the Arkin EPL4 on there, the front base, and it was the two-piece bases, they were the front thread and the back thread were cross-threaded. So when I went to take them out, they snapped. And I tried heating them first with the torch and all that stuff, and they still just broke right off. So I finally gave up. I tried drilling them out with my drill press and all that stuff. And I wasn't having no luck. I was getting more and more frustrated. So I took it to a local gunsmith, and I called him first. I said, I'm Jamie, and I've been up there before, and I'm going to bring you a rifle if y'all still open and taking work. He said, yeah, if you can wait on it. I'm about 2 or 3 weeks behind. I said, well, I'll be up there in a little while. And, of course, he didn't tell me how much it was going to cost. He just told me it's going to be between 2 and 3 weeks before I got it back. So I called the guy that owns the rifle and told him what I was going to do, and I told him it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks. So I took the gun up there, and he looked at it. He said, that's not going to be any problem. Come on upstairs. And went upstairs into his shop. He said, grab a stool over there. And we sat there and talked while he did it. And he had this old school dentist drill. I mean, literally. It had a cable going down to a thing he held in his hand right there. And I told him, I said, that reminds me of an old school dentist drill. He said, that's amazing because that's exactly what it is. And he says, not only that, these bits I use, I bought them off of a dentist that was going out of business. And he used the same thing dentists used to drill cavities out of your teeth with. And he was, all right. I go upstairs, me and him sit there and talk for a while. Hey, Hasbro. Put that up there. Good to see you out there, brother. So I'm sitting there and we're talking, and he's teaching me all about taps and you start it with a tapered tap, and then you have all that crazy stuff. And I got to get me some carbide bits, Ozark. So I'm up there maybe 20, 30 minutes. And he's not only got those broken screws out, he's, and we're going to get to this in a minute. He had to widen these holes out. This is a Weaver rail. And we're going to talk about the differences between Weaver and Picatinny here in a minute, because I think a lot of us think that they're the same thing, and they're not. I found out the hard way. So anyway,
they're spelt different.
They are spelt different. So I'm up there 20 or 30 minutes. I say, how much do I owe you? And he says $45. I was expecting $150 to $200 because I'd looked online and one of these gunsmith places were in the Atlanta area was charging $50 a hole to drill and tap a receiver base. And yes, Tommy boy, I went with 840 because that's what the new rifles. The one, this is an older gun, and it was originally tapped at 648, but he went with number 840. And I told him that's what I wanted him to do, and he said, "Well, that's what I was going to do." So we agreed on that, and so he charged me $45. I gave him 320s. He gave me a 10 and a 5 back, and I gave him the 10 back. So here, man, this is for whatever.
Awesome.
So that's done. And if I could pick a gun up and show it to you, I'd show it to you. I already got the scope mounted on there, and it's wonderful. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the differences between. I have a video about the different types. We can show another video, can't we? Will we get in copyright jail for that?
I don't think so. I don't know.
It's YouTube video. It could be okay.
Figure this out.
But I think, somebody said something about, carbon drill bits and stuff. In my opinion, I mean, if you know what you're looking for, yeah, you can get some, but find some nice ones. But man, these tool people like MacMan and stuff, I mean, they sell this stuff and they know what works and what don't. And a lot of times you don't have to buy a big package. You can get, just certain increments. And I know they're expensive, but they're worth it. If you take care of them, man, they're worth it and they'll last you a lifetime.
That's one of the things Six Shooter Texan told me in the comments last time we were talking about it. Let's see if we can get this to play. Don't buy the hardware store stuff. Get some professional tools to do a professional job.
Yeah.
Hi, Caleb with Brownells here. Today we're going to be talking about two popular mounting platforms, specifically the Weaver and the 1913 Picatinny rail. Now the Weaver's been around the longest, and it was really the first of its kind as far as modular, easy-to-use mounting platform goes. Before that, you couldn't really just throw your gun in the back of the Vista Cruiser and change out optics at the range. Now, the Weaver itself was invented by William Weaver, and it's been around since about the mid-1970s. Now we have the 1913 Picatinny rail. Now, this was developed by the military in the mid-90s, and it was mainly designed because the military wanted something standardized across the board, something that any manufacturer can make an accessory for their weapons and have it mount consistently and rigidly all the time. Now, the name Picatinny comes from the Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey, which is its place of origin. And with that being said, there are some distinctive differences between these two. First off, the Weaver doesn't really have a defined set of exact tolerances and exact measurements, and the Picatinny does. So what that means is that the slots on the Picatinny and the slots on the Weaver, although they look pretty similar, they're actually very different. If you have something that's made to mount on a Picatinny system, it's not always going to mount on a Weaver rail. But the other way around, since the slots on the Weaver are a little bit smaller, something made to mount on a Weaver rail will usually mount on a Picatinny rail. Now, it's important to know the differences between these two if you're selecting your base, or you're selecting your rings, or you're selecting any other mounting platform for your firearm. You'll need to make sure you choose the right bases for the right rings and the other way around. Now, if you have any questions about what you have or what you need, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Let's take a
All right,
look.
we'll see you next time.
Here.
What you need, feel free to give us a call on the tech line.
All right, make this go away. Okay, if we can look at these two, see how the one on the right is flat and the one on the left is jacked up in the back, that would be a 20 MOA. And the other one's the standard Weaver mount. But they are a lot of difference. And I found out that you do have to match. If your rings are made to mount on a Picatinny, then you really need a Picatinny rail, and you can use the. I know, right, Hasbro? Don't trust that guy. He don't have a beard.
Especially on No Shave November.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, Tommy boy. Thank you. Kind of like 5.56 and 2.23. You can shoot 2.23 and a 5.56, but you can't shoot 5.56 and a 2.23, or so they say. But that's a big thing, and CW put a video out, and he was talking about that. And the 20 MOA thing is huge if you want to maximize that range of adjustment in your scopes.
Yeah, I want to shout out CW. That was an excellent video explaining all that. That was great, buddy. You did an awesome job on that.
Thank you.
And the point I like that he made so fine in that video, and you know, I got my first 20 MOA rail 2.5 years ago, but you know, it really didn't sink into my mind until I actually started using that thing. What CW said so well and so eloquently is when you mount that scope on that rifle, and you know, you gotta say you're 100 yards zero, it's right there at 100 yards, and then everything below that's wasted. You know, half of your vertical adjustment is not in play. But you get a 20 MOA rail, and it jacks the back end of your scope up. So yeah, now you can really utilize more of the range that the scope's capable of. But
I was just going to say one deal about that, and I mean, brought another YouTuber, but I mean everybody knows him, 22 Plinkster. When he was shooting at that soda can at, I believe it was 1,000 yards or whatever, was it 22? If you ever seen that video, his scope is sitting above the rifle and it's jacked up like a 1970s hot rod. I mean, there's 4 inches in the back side of that scope, you know, and I assume, you know, that was to get that distance and, like CW said, to get that, you know, movement into the scope to try to zero in a 22 long rifle at that distance, you know, and it really looked awkward. It really did.
I think one more point I want to make about that is what you gotta bear in mind though is the scope that you're putting on there. You got to make sure it's capable of being adjusted back and forth. Yeah, Tommy Boy's right as always, or it seems like it. on a cheap hunting scope, you know, the 20 MOA is still good because it does give you that more range and it keeps everything more centered, as Tommy Boy is pointing out, where your best vision is. But with a with a lower end scope that's not doesn't have the tactical turrets, you're going to wear those turrets out if you keep turning it up and turning it down. Not to mention the fact that you're probably going to have to do it with a dime or a screwdriver at the range. So there's that. What?
Fuzzy.
There's a comment here I want to highlight. Walter don't need a beard.
That's because he's forgot more about that than most of us know.
Oh yeah. If I just knew what Walter forgot, I'd be the smartest guy in this household. Probably the smartest guy in my county.
I'm the smartest guy in this household, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. I'm like, I'm the only guy in here besides my dog.
That is a good point, Rollis. When buying a scope, and I know I'm beating a dead horse and preaching to the choir, but make sure that your reticle and your adjustments are the same. So, like if it's one click equals 1/4 MOA at 100 yards, why would you buy one with a reticle that's in mils? It's math in my brain that don't compute. And anyway, so you ready, Gene?
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, 1 second.
I'm ready.
It's time for What's Hot Pot Guy? What you got for us tonight, my brother?
I got something. Hey, how you doing, Mark?
You found Mark in the trash can again? Come on, man.
Well, you know, it's the way we roll on here. Can't help it. I got something really cool from the turn of the century. This is a 30 caliber rimfire cartridge. Ooh, I dropped it. That thing is tiny.
Oh, wow.
This is a short version. They also made a long. This was actually a black powder cartridge. So you would use a 30 caliber projectile in there. Weights on them, I really couldn't find too much on the weights besides around 50 to 60 grain, I believe it was. But between 5 and 6 grains of black powder were used in these. And this is a UMC cartridge. And I got some other info on it too. Let's see. These would be guns like the Sharps Model 2 Pepper Box, the Marlin XXX Standard, and the Remington Smoot, which date from 1875 up to 1859. These are old. One was a 50 to 80 grain lead projectile with 5 to 6 grains of black powder. The bullet diameter was 290 to 295. Very popular in self-defense cartridges of the turn of the century because you could just keep this little gun in your pocket. They fell out of production the start of World War I in 1914. The 30 rimfire short, which I have here, was produced until the late 1920s. What's really funny about this is UMC only made 30 rimfire short and long from 1885 to 1911, and this is a UMC cartridge.
Wow.
So that's how old this little bitty thing is. And this came floating through the sorting machine as I was sitting there sorting. And I popped it out and popped it in my pocket like I do a lot of other things. And wow, guys, is that cool? This is it's just amazing, the stuff that I find that I homework it.
So that's
now, how would somebody lose one of these over 100 years later?
Well, you know how it goes. If you shoot 5, you only find 4.
Yeah, but the bullet on these, the lead bullet, was actually wax coated for lubricant due to the black powder.
Yeah.
And that, everybody, is what Hot Pot's got tonight.
30 rimfire.
30 caliber rimfire.
I'll be darned.
If you take the time to look them up, you can see some pictures of actual antique ammo. It's not safe to shoot now, naturally, but it is highly collectible.
Very cool.
A pretty hefty strike on the bottom of that case too, and whatever firearm fired that sucker, it's got a good firing pin. Spring anyway.
Yeah, the pictures of the pistols that I found were really, really neat. The box that they would come in, this is one of the boxes that they would come in.
Dang, that's a sardine can almost.
Yeah, exactly. And see, here's a picture of actual found unfired cartridges.
Oh wow!
Really neat stuff. I like doing this, man. This is I just get the opportunity to find things like this, and I'm sharing some stuff someone's never seen before. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you've had the opportunity, someone out there, to actually fire one of these.
So do you run that through the tumbler or clean it up or leave it historic?
I'm going to leave it just like it is. I was going to clean it up with some cleaner, and I thought, you know what? This is how it came through the machine. It's over 100 years old. Over 120 years old. So not going to leave it as is. It's going to go back to my little collectible container.
I wonder, kind of almost makes you wonder if somebody got grandpa's inheritance or something, and there's some guns and ammo or something or what, like you said, just leave that laying around.
We told him about those, Fuzz. He hadn't heard about those yet.
I've been looking. I've been keeping my eyes out.
They're very distinctive. You'll know them when you see them. They're some of those pin fired were very anemic. Very anemic. I mean, 44 calibers that wouldn't penetrate a 3-piece suit,
Might as well throw rocks at them instead. Get a lot less trouble.
I guess they did the job they were intended to. Most of them's what I call a poker gun. You got them stuck somewhere where you. There's 6 Shooter sending us a link. Get a closer look at that. Thank you. And Mr. 6 Shooter Texan has joined us. Howdy, 6.
Yeah, I read a lot of stuff on it. I just highlighted a few features of it. there's a lot more information on it when you really start reading about it, going through Wikipedia and some of the other forums. There's a lot of information about the 30 caliber black powder rimfire cartridges of the day. That actually, I believe that one of the articles I read said it actually turned into the 32. Is what 32 was started off of, was that when that was becoming obsolete, and it was taking more because it had a little more firepower to it.
Yeah, a little bit bigger caliber. And a little bit. You gotta remember, we're talking about black powder.
Yeah. So if you would find one of those cartridges today, it's not going to go off. That black powder it's done. You know, the wax on the outside of it, it's, if you could find the firearm outside the Smithsonian.
Gotta love it.
I got something else. I got something else here too, Jamie.
All right. Okay.
I would like to do a little giveaway in honor of Veterans Day. It is a Smith & Wesson American flag knife.
Sweet.
It's got a pocket clip on it. It's normal Smith & Wesson knife quality. You take one of these to work with you and cut up boxes, cut straps all day long. It's got a serrated blade on it. But I'd like to give this away to one of our chat members.
Hillbilly, can you make the giveaway tool work?
Working on it right now, buddy. See how I can get going. What do you want the hashtag to be, Gene?
Hashtag vet.
VET. Okay, let me see.
VET. Vet.
Okay, I have hashtag VET. So
yes.
Somebody put that out there. Let's see if it pops up on the screen.
Hasbro's got it.
Yep.
Bamadad, Rune, Paul Loud. Okay, you guys are typing it in.
Is counting.
Good.
Rune, it's vet, not bet.
Not BET. That's a whole different TV program.
Yeah, we're not on that channel tonight. I thought that I seen that. I was out shopping today and I seen that. And I just thought that would be a nice little giveaway prize for the Georgia Shooting Connection in honor of Veterans Day.
Thank you
Jamie,
very
you
much.
gotta get in this. It says Smith & Wesson on it, and it's got American flag, brother.
I've already missed 40-something comments.
Well, everybody's been in hashtag vet.
There you go. There you
Right
go.
there.
Look at all of those guys. Johnny 1982 was telling us that see if I can find it. I'll just put it up here. Shannon, Johnny's reloading bench, dropped a video and said he might be hanging it up for good.
Oh, man.
I learned a lot from Johnny's reloading bench.
He passed a lot of knowledge off to all of us.
Right. I think how I do my load development is pretty much verbatim how he did it, how he taught us to do it. So has everybody got their hashtags in? There's G23. What's up, man? Stranger?
Yeah, we just had an extra one, or one just come in, so. Thank you for your service, Rune, and all the rest of you out there. Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. There's some more coming in. So what do y'all think about let's do the verse of the week and we'll do the giveaway right after that. And we'll let CW chime in about what he thinks about the differences in Picatinny and Weaver, because he kind of hung me out there. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, here we go. Y'all know we've been talking about the Beatitudes from Matthew chapter 5. We're up to verse 11, and this is probably going to do it. Let me do this. We'll just we're going to finish this off tonight, I think. Okay. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil things against you falsely for my sake. So there, Jesus is teaching us that, and in other places in the New Testament and the Gospels, he tells us to expect to be persecuted, to be reviled on. Remember back in John chapter 1, he's the light, and the light sheds light on the darkness, and the people love the darkness because it hides their evil deeds, and when the light shines on it. So we're at odds with, if you're a Christian, you're a Jesus follower, and you're trying to do the right thing and live a good Christian life, and other people are going to see you. There's people in the world that are not, and they're going to be at odds with the way you are trying to live your life. And Jesus tells us to expect it. One key thing that, and it says, for my sake, for his sake, for Jesus' sake, says, when blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil things against you falsely for my sake. What about if they're not saying it falsely? What if you're really doing the stuff that they're accusing you of and saying stuff like that? Well, you're not where you want to be with the Lord, okay? So there's that. And then we look at verse 12 there. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So it ain't nothing new when they make up bad stuff and say bad things about you when you're trying to live right for the Lord. Expect it. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. And make sure they're saying those things falsely. You don't want to be acting like that, and then them saying that kind of stuff, and they're not wrong. So there's that. Questions or comments, guys?
Well, yeah, I'll chime in like I always do. Good school teacher, you know how we are. We're gonna talk for an hour until the bell rings. So whichever comes first. So shut me up when it's time. But this one, to me means, as you said, you expect to be looked at funny and expect to be persecuted, expect people to say you don't know what you're talking about and you're full of it, and all that kind of stuff. But what he's saying here is buck up, buddy. Stand up and for what you believe in. And if you do, then the reward is going to be waiting for you. Don't worry about don't sweat the small stuff, I guess, is kind of another way of saying it. It's going to happen. Everybody knows it's going to happen. I'm telling you it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Stand up for what you believe in, and your reward will be waiting for you. And don't worry about that either. It's going to be there.
Absolutely.
I agree. I mean, I think it's pretty much as it is wrote there. If you stand up for the Lord, for what you believe, even though you might, some people might shout you down or whatever, but the rewards are going to be great for it. And I agree with what you said, Jamie. Make sure those things they're saying they're not true, because there's no reward for that. That's for sure.
I think those things are their own reward. That's what you wanted. That's what you got. So, guess what? When this life's over, there's no more reward. Anybody else got anything on the verse of the week?
I'm hope we can go a couple more verses into this one, next week or the week after or whenever, because the next couple are kind of important ones to me. But I don't want to get started on that tonight. But
yeah, we'll keep going if that's what y'all want to do. I thought that was the end of the Beatitudes.
Well, it is kind of. It's just that it's not the end of that story, though. When you get up into 13 and 14, is when it starts talking about why those Beatitudes are there. It's like, to me, the top of the ladder hasn't got there yet.
Right.
It starts talking about why you need to do these things.
And you remember when we first started doing the Beatitudes, I said, this is just the introduction to the greatest sermon. And it is. It's just the introduction.
Yeah. And there's some really just well-written passages in this chapter, when Matthew starts saying things like, hey, you wouldn't go light a candle and stick it under a bucket, would you? No, you're the light. Don't keep it in, be the light and get out there and shine it. But just know that people are going to come try to put you out for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Be prepared to be persecuted.
Yep. All right.
It's like my granddaughter told me one time. She's young. She come home, or she'd been to Sunday school. I think it's that afternoon or whatever. She said, "Papa, you don't want to stick your candle under a bush?" And I said, "Darn right." And she goes, "Yeah, it might catch the bush on fire."
Yeah. Even if we don't go farther with it, Jamie, that, it was such a good choice on your part to bring that into the discussion over a period of.
Yeah. Well, you froze up there, Walter. That's the Lord telling you that he did it, not Jamie. All right. Come back to us, Walter. Come on. I bet he's sitting there with his little wheel spinning.
Yeah.
Y'all been there. All right. So thanks for tolerating my Johnny 1982. You're too good to us, man. We just so come on back as soon as you can, Walter.
I thought maybe he's just concentrating.
No, there's no smoke.
My dad said, "I'm glad Jamie moved. I thought he was having a McConnell moment." I'm starting to have those, y'all. I'm kind of scared, really. I am. I might have moments where I lose my train of thought and forget what I'm talking about, but won't nobody ever confuse me as a liberal.
Jamie, you know what? Just enjoy those few moments of peace you get when that happens.
I know, right?
That's all I do is I just enjoy that couple moments of peace. I forgot what I was looking for, and now it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that moment has passed, right?
Yep. Next.
There we go. Maybe Walter will be back in a minute. I was wanting him to tell us about the about mounting the scope on the Ruger Precision rifle. Oh, we got a giveaway to do, right?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man! Do your thing, hillbilly.
All righty. Let me get this screen up here and share it. All right. So we had 31 entries. And Gene, you tell me we want me to wind this thing up and give her a spin.
You got the button control. Let's do it.
All right. There we go. Round and around she goes. Tacos and French fries.
All right.
Congratulations.
All right, let us know you're out there, tacos.
Yeah, that just screams America right there, Dean.
Man, Smith & Wesson with an American flag on it. Can you get any better?
Oh, man.
That's great. That's a great price. Thanks for doing that for us, Gene.
Man,
Absolutely.
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, so
let's see if Tacos French fries responds here.
Rune, we're glad to have you out there, brother.
Yeah.
That 6.555 Swiss looks awesome. I'm jealous. I wish I could work on that Mauser for you. I love those old Milsurp guns. Okay, so Walter, you want to tell us about putting the scope on your Ruger Precision? What kind of scope did you?
Yeah, I can tell you about it. But I don't know if my comment in the chat came through. I just lost my internet. I'm on the phone's hotspot right now, so I can't do video. But I can talk to you. So yeah, that new Ruger RPR, I put a Vortex Crossfire 2 on it. Not a real expensive one. I've got a couple of others on my other rimfire guns, and they work fine. This one's a 6 to 18 power. I wasn't sure whether it was going to be enough to do 100 yards. I think it will be. I think it's going to be enough. I went out and shot it here yesterday, in fact, and it's got plenty of magnification to get out to 100 yards. I only shot it at 50 yesterday, but it's going to be fine. After I beat on it a few more times with a hammer because it can't shoot. That scope shoots worse than I do. It's got to be the scope, right? So, yeah, I mounted it here. I've got a set of levels. I forget what they're called. I'm going to say fix-it sticks. Does that sound familiar to anybody? And it's got vertical and horizontal levels that you get everything all leveled up with. And then before I went to the range, I have a laser bore scope or bore sighter. Yeah, and I backed off out through my garage and out into the street, actually. Bore sighted it at about 25 yards with that laser and took it to the range. And it was pretty close. It was close enough. And then got it dialed in at 25 and then took it out to 50 and readjusted. It seemed like it's going to be okay. So that's what I did. Didn't do anything special other than that. I did not Loctite the screws down yet because I wasn't sure I was going to keep that scope on there. I wanted to go see how it was going to be as far as magnification went, and it's going to be fine. So I probably will reset it and put some thread locker on it.
All right, there we go. Down to a couple of days left for Lakeview's giveaway. To help him and his family out, $50 for a chance to win a Kimber 1911 chambered in 10 millimeter. So that's an awesome prize. And
Sure is.
yeah, GZW got another big game tomorrow. Last week was big. This one's even bigger now. It's like the more games you win, the bigger the next one is.
Did tacos and French fries ever respond out there?
No, I didn't see anything.
Well, it's up to you, Gene. I still have the board up if you want to redraw, buddy.
I don't know that he would get in touch with us if we.
Yeah, he don't.
Yeah.
If you don't know he wins, then. But anyway, it's your guys' call, so I hadn't erased it yet.
Yeah, if you want to spin that around again, go ahead.
Alrighty, we will do that. All right, so I want to hit the draw again button. Three Jeep Discovery.
3 Jeep.
Buddy.
Here you go.
Are you out there still?
He was out there earlier, I know.
Yep. Let's see.
Give him a minute here, see if he responds. And
Post a comment, 3 Jeep, if you're there.
yeah. They may have went to bed on us.
We'll
So
give it a couple-
sure.
Him and tacos may went for a taco or something.
in his Jeep.
Yeah, the Jeep to get the taco stand.
They hopped in the disco and went to Taco Bell.
All right, Gene, it's your call. Whenever you're ready, we'll spin her again, buddy.
Give him a few minutes to. My dad's checking the participants list.
Yeah, he must have left.
So we got Rick Harris got 4 last week. And 6-shooter got 2 this past weekend. I got 1 Wednesday morning. Hopefully I'll get a couple more. And Rune and CW are talking about 6.506. Yeah, I don't think he's out there no more.
Right.
There's Chad Kelly.
That's terrible when you have a hard time giving away something.
See, maybe 3rd time's a charm.
Let's go.
Hasbro.
Bro, I know he's out there. Come on, Hasbro.
Congratulations, buddy.
Say something to us, Hasbro.
I hope he's still there. He sent me an email saying that he has to work early in the morning. There he is.
There he is.
All right.
All right.
All right, Hasbro, if you will email me at reloadingfromthehotpot@gmail.com, all lowercase, all together, simple. Send me your address, and I'll send you this knife and some sticker swag. And maybe
Very cool.
another little. I might throw another little gift in there for you too.
Very cool. Congrats, Hasbro. Hope you enjoy that.
It's a good one.
Big news tonight. Our buddy Gizzard Gary is out in Oklahoma, and that guy is stealing his place tonight. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
There you go, Hasbro. And
I seen that when you typed that in.
there's the email right there. So CW's having trouble with his internet too. Sounds like I can. Oh, is that Hillbilly's dog? Yeah, that's Hillbilly's
Yeah,
dog.
sorry about that.
Hey, that's all right. I mean, it's usually mine. So, Mark Thomas, we ain't heard a whole lot from you tonight, man. So, what are you thinking about the scope on the 41 mag Black Hawk?
I wanted to give it a try, and it did okay. I'm sure if I had a good steady rest, because I did get up against one of those posts, and I was able to really bring it in. Really bring it in. I got about a 5 or 6 inch group instead of a 10-inch group, but I think it's still just a little bit of getting used to that revolver. I'm really having trouble with this right eye. Whenever I try to focus on those crosshairs, they almost start to warp. So I'm leaning my head over and I'm using my left eye, and that's not helping me any either. So I may just take the scope off and run it with the iron sights like I grew up with, and at least then I'm not feeling as bad that I'm not making nice tight groups with a scope. I can at least blame it on the iron sights.
There you go.
Plus, I'd like to make a nice holster for it to carry around a little bit, and putting a holster with a scope just doesn't work very well.
No, it don't. Y'all tell Andy 79Z28 good night.
Good night, Andy.
Good night, Andy. Hope you sleep well, buddy.
See you next go around, Andy.
Nah, buddy.
Yeah. I got a bunch of zinc I need to get boxed up and send to him. I'll take care of that next week. Get off my butt and do it.
Yeah, I thought we had a ton of zinc to send him too, and then come to find out it's in California, but that's another story.
I probably got 2 medium flat rate boxes I could fill.
Well, I'm sure he'd appreciate it, especially with those guys that are buying big bundles off of him, and he needs all we can get to him. So, if you guys are not using your zinc, send it to Andy. And if you need to get in touch with him, get in touch with one of us. You can get in touch with. We already know how to get in touch with Gene. And I hope you know how to get in touch with me at georgiashootingconnection@gmail.com or jh586sw@gmail.com. So, yeah. Tommy Boy got a tip for you there, Mark. Oh, you done seen it. My bad.
No, that's good.
That's my problem, Tommy boy. Gotta close that left eye or I won't hit anything on iron sight.
I'm just getting to where I have to decide whether I'm looking at the iron sights or the target.
Look at your front sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Being
CW,
right-handed left eye dominant's great for golf, but not for shooting rifles.
If you play golf, you're probably drinking seltzer.
Yep.
I played a lot of golf in my days, and I never drank seltzer. So,
well, they probably didn't have seltzer when you were playing golf.
Well,
so you lucked out.
I didn't know it existed until I saw Hillbilly blowing the crap up over on his channel.
The only reason I know it exists is because my daughter brought some into this house on a weekend cookout, and they drank a couple of them, and they didn't like them, and they sit in my refrigerator. So I took them out and shot them, and that's where it all started.
They're more fun to shoot than they are to drink. Huh?
Trust me. I still, guys, if we hit $10,000 for Lakeview, the Scottish American is coming on Guns, Beer, and Therapy and drinking a hard seltzer. I mean, I think we're only a couple thousand away, to be honest. I don't know what the count is right now with Val's, deal going on, but man, that would be great to watch.
You know what? You should make him have to hold a Glock while he's doing it.
His head would explode, man.
I'd have to go to Rumble for that.
Yeah.
His paternal twin brother, the Glocksman, may show up sometime soon. Just saying.
Yeah, I forgot about Zima G.
Man.
Bama Dad, I have a smaller, and I can't find it, but I've got to. I have a smaller cast iron ladle. It's got a handle about that long, and the cup's only, about
a couple of pounds.
6 to 8 ounce, of liquid kind of thing.
I like my 2-pounder better than the 5, but you can do it with a 5-pounder. It's just
they're heavy. Lately, I've been using just a big soup ladle that I got at the dollar store. The handles on them are a little weak and they'll bend after a while, but they hold a couple pounds of lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, dig around in your wife's kitchen. Surely you can find some.
Yeah, they work pretty well.
I bought a little nicer soup ladle instead of going to the dollar store. I actually went to Walmart. And I bought one that's a little bit thicker and more sturdy, and I've been using that soup ladle to make my ingots since I started doing it.
Yeah, that's a good size for me, because any more than that, they just start getting heavy, especially if you're going to be doing a bunch of them. But then I'm old, so.
Yeah, mine holds about 2 pounds of melted lead.
Yeah, and what we're talking about is smelting here, I'm assuming, because that's what you're getting answers. Yeah, is any good steel ladle or anything like that? CW, did I explain the differences? Did you see the video? Did we explain the differences between the pick rail and the Weaver rails?
That's about the time that I started to cut out. But I saw it. I saw the beginning of it. But I know the difference anyway.
I know you do. I was just wondering if we explained it properly.
Yeah, I didn't hear the explanations. Just the video.
Okay, let me do this right quick, and then we'll start going through the room. Clear the deck for uh, the
Gizzard Hillbilly.
To imitate Gizzard Larry. This is the Weaver, and you see how it comes up on the side at kind of a 45-degree angle, and it comes back 45. Well, your pick rails are not like that. And like the man said, they're established how thick those bars are across. So basically, you got this sticking up in the air, kind of. You see? Can you see how that kind of sticks up? You can't, can you? Anyway.
Kind of looks like a little bit of a bat wing.
Yeah, but the Picatinny is straight across the top, and the slots
they're high as they're wide,
and they're standardized size and distances apart. So
yeah, I changed out the EGW rail that was on that 1022 and dropped on the Weaver. I mean the Leopold, and I did not have to change the rings at all because they're both pick. Took it off one and put it on the other. Dropped on perfect.
that's great. But I mounted the with the Arkin scope, the EPL 4, 4x16, I believe. We used the Arkin rings, and they're designed for Picatinny. So when I was using the Weaver, it didn't work. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Mario.
Mario.
West Coast weirdo. Oh. Well, since Mock isn't here, you know.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mario. Happy Veterans Day. So we got some Rowell ladles. It's what Walks
I think that's what.
Yeah, they're pricey though.
2-pounder. I know it's a 2-pounder.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, just a good stainless steel soup ladle will do just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Lead doesn't stick to it.
Once it's hot.
You can knock it off on the side of the pot. It's fine.
Right.
Been using the same one for a long time now. You don't need to spend a lot of money to do this. You can compromise a lot of things. Like I use a deep fry ladle to get all of my wheel weight clips out when I'm doing my smelting. One of those deep fry ladles, the big ones,
right.
The wire mesh. I use one of those to get all the junk out.
Yeah, I use one too. It worked good.
I've been using the same one for years.
An ice fishing screen I use. It's a big dish, maybe a 4-inch wide dish with like 1/4-inch holes in it. It's made for getting slush out of an ice hole when you're ice fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you can improvise and compromise, and you can hillbillyize it.
Yeah. And Bam and Dad, I never get all of the lead out of my cast iron Dutch oven type pot that I do my ingot, and leave a 1/2 inch or something down there in the bottom and get that stuff heated up first, and then that's going to help get the rest of your stuff melted in the next time. So I never worry about getting that thing drained. I have once I drained it and got it all out, but I did that by picking the whole pot up and tipping it into the ingots to get the last little bits out. Yeah. But that's not, you really don't need to do that.
Vice grips work really good. If you got a good handle on it, you can put a vice grip onto one side, and you've got a really good handle, a really good solid grip, and you can dump it right out. But you want to only do it when you've got a tiny bit in there, because you don't realize how heavy lead is. Even if you got an inch in there, you're going to be shocked how hard it is to pick that thing up, and you spill that on your leg. You only do that once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just don't worry about getting that last half inch out of the bottom. Just leave it in there, and then
you're better off leaving it. Yeah. Once it's cool, it'll come right out as a big disc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put it back in when you start melting next time. It's a good start.
Yeah, so it doesn't. You don't need to spend a lot of money on that, by my dad.
So let's go through the room and see what we got coming up this week for everybody. Gene, you want to start?
Sure.
If you excuse me real quick, I don't want to take anything away from you, but I got about 4 minutes to go from Southwest Missouri to northeastern Kansas to take over Gary's show. So
Why don't you go first?
I just want to tell you guys, thanks a lot for having me on here. I appreciate it. It's always a blast to do this, with you guys every Friday night. I have so much fun, and I'm going to go over and take over foul territory. Looky here. We're up and ready to go. So for you folks, when you get done here, if you get a chance, come over and visit us over there. Gary and them's in Watermaker, Tulsa Gun Show. And so anyway, I'm going to jump over there real quick. I thank you all very much. I love you all. I mean, I really appreciate you so much for having me on here.
Good night, man. Have a good weekend.
Good night. And we
Good
still
night.
got Guns, Beer, and Therapy Saturday nights. So.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you.
All right, we'll see y'all. I love you all. Bye-bye.
See you in a bit.
Bye, Hillbilly.
What have I got coming up? I got a really cool video coming out tomorrow morning of my B-Day present I bought myself. It's really interesting. Something I had never seen, heard of, never seen. Now I own. Other than that, man, thanks for having me on tonight. It was great. Congratulations to Hasbro for winning the knife. I'll be sure to send him some other swag and a nice little gift with it. I think he'll be happy. I hope he's happy. Didn't cost him anything. It's cool stuff. He's going to be happy.
Yeah, he'll be happy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I always look forward to Friday nights. Love all you guys very much. Side chat out there, always rocking. It's always a good time. And I really like doing this What's Hot Pot Got, man. I got some other really cool stuff in the background for that too. So we'll just try to keep that coming. Cool. Everybody have a great, blessed weekend. Please be safe out there and be the reason someone smiles.
You do the same, man. Thank you. I think everybody loves what Hot Spot got. Mark Thomas, what you got coming up this week?
Well, I did some more filming at the range today. I got to edit that and put that one out. That's the Hillbilly Balloon Challenge. And we'll see what happens on Sunday. I might actually get out in the woods for a little bit. We have one of our 3 Sunday hunting days in Pennsylvania. So I just discussed with Seth, and he wants to go to Airsoft tomorrow. So that frees up Sunday for me. And we'll see if I can get out in the woods a little bit. Other than that, don't know. We'll just see what comes. And been wonderful to be here. Been looking forward to it all week. Thank you so much. Great interacting with the side chat. Great seeing you guys. Walter, what do you got?
Well, let's see. We, first of all, again, just like everybody else, I feel blessed just to be here with this crowd. All of you folks over there in the side chat, I consider my friends, and it's, that's one of the reasons I look forward to Friday nights is to interact with you folks over there and find out what everybody's been up to. And I never fail to learn from you guys. I learn something every Friday night from that side chat. And so I'm very appreciative of this opportunity. So we had this morning over on the Rumble channel, I have a Rumble only series over there going called Free the Few, which is I'm taking all my little jars of orphan bullets that just there's 20 or 30 or 40 of them left in there. Instead of remelting them like I used to, I'm loading them up and shooting them. And so we had one of those drop today. We had the 10th one of those in a row. And this coming Monday, we got episode 37 already of Moldy Monday. I got two brand new. I hardly ever buy a brand new mold, as you guys know, but I bought two brand new Seiko molds because I could. I found some for 41 mag. So they're supposed to be out of my mailbox right now. And if they are, then I'm going to cast those suckers tomorrow, and I'll send some your way too, Mark.
Thank you.
So we're going to have lots of 41 caliber cast bullets here coming up, and then hopefully next Friday day I'll do an unboxing of that new Smith & Wesson that I'm going to get on Thursday. So that's what I got going on.
Awesome.
That's
really a good
Looking
time.
forward to that.
Well, I got a couple of videos in the queue. I got one more video that's just needs to be finished editing, and I'm supposed to be going to the range tomorrow, but it's kind of in flux because of the way the weekend goes. My weekends generally are driven by my buddy or his kids. I just do it to stay busy. I tag along or we do stuff. So we're gonna go look at a piece of property for hunting. Don't know how much walking I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do a little bit. Luckily we can drive around all of this, and today with the apps you can get on your phone, we can look at bird's eye view of all the property lines, boundaries, and elevations and everything. So I get a good idea of where I am when I'm on the property. Of course, I won't know what it looks like till I'm on there, but that's the walking part. We'll see how much I can do. I don't want to overextend myself because then I get really sore. Past couple of days we've had a lot of rain, so my knee's been swelled up and bothering me. So I got to be wary of that. But hitting the range, and I'm going to shoot that 1022. So I'll be making up that video shortly, or next range trip, and then that'll be out shortly. But I got, like I said, I got 2 in queue, 1 ready to be finished up. So there's at least 3 videos for sure, and probably 4 over the next 3-4 days. So that's
Awesome.
I picked up a new 10mm mold, and that video dropped this morning. I heat cycled that a couple times last night and once more this morning, and it cast pretty good. It's I know it was my wheel weights, and it came out 226. It was supposed to be 220. Goes to show you that wheel weights aren't wheel weights everywhere. So
right.
But still fine, not complaining at all. It's just what it is. But it's a nice bullet. I sent some pictures to Gene and some Viejos, so the rest of you guys are going to have to wait to see it. But it's a truncated cone. It's going to be good, easy feeding. It's just I seeded one in the 40 Smith & Wesson because James Pugh was chirping in my ear. He wanted to see it. So there's not much room for powder in that thing. So
Right.
I'm going to have to see. I did a test with 200 grainers in the 40, and I got some pretty good velocities. But I was shooting in a 6-inch barrel in my Glock 24. So I don't know. I'll try, but I don't know what I'm going to get. I think you're past optimal, and you're going to have problems with getting enough powder in to make a attainable realistic velocity or usable velocity. I think it's going to be really difficult.
I have several 10mm to test those in. Yeah,
you do. I think last count for me was 11. I got from 16 to down to about 3 inches. So we'll see what
I got one.
We'll see what it can do. Well, I got a couple I won't shoot. I got one unfired Delta Elite that is a safe queen. It was bought as an investment, and it's going to stay that way. But I could shoot my other Delta, but I don't like to shoot it because it's they cracked frames a lot, those early ones, and I don't want to. I shoot 10 millimeter for 10 millimeter. If I want to shoot a 40, I'll shoot a 40. So I don't shoot that Delta. But I'd love to pick up a Gerson, but I'm not really in the market for buying anything right now. I did pick up that 454, but I traded for it, so it didn't cost me but just a few pence. So, but that's about it. Jamie, what you got going on this week?
I've got this gun together, so now I'm gonna finish 308. So y'all keep an eye out for a couple of 308 videos, then a range trip with it. The reason it's cut up like it is, and I wanted to do small short videos and put the whole series in a playlist on my channel, so that if you want to know about 308, you can go watch that playlist and look at all your options. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be working on this coming week, is getting some of those videos done and out for you guys. And other than that, we hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And if He's willing, we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for playing along.